Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alessia and I am a certified life coach, and today we're going to talk about change and how to deal with changes in your life and how to stay sane. So change is inevitable, change is the only thing that stays constant. So why as humans do we fear it so much? Because it is uncomfortable. Maybe you found yourself in a crossroads. You had a job that you absolutely loved, and because of coronavirus or because of any other change in your life, and you catalytic event happened, and then you find yourself not having that job. Or for example, maybe you transitioned and in your mind you wanted to do something and now you were super happy doing that, but it doesn't serve you anymore. Or maybe there's a new opportunity came up and you contemplate in taking it, and this is all a major change, and you may find yourself feeling stuck, insecure, maybe feeling a little bit doubtful, and it's okay to feel like you are back to square one or don't know what the hell is going on. It's a normal, I want to tell you that this is a normal reaction to any kind of change in your life, especially if it's a big change like an identity change. What I mean by identity change is that we are like you are as you are at the moment. It is a rehearsed pattern of your thoughts and actions that you've done over the years and experiences that you've had over the years, like your job experiences and your life experiences. So that is pretty much the basis for your current identity, and this is what you identify as. For example, you may identify as a makeup artist, a waitress, a lawyer, a student, a mother, a father, a boyfriend, a mom, anything like that. And there are three different types of events that can happen in life that usually act as a catalyst to change. And so as follows, pretty much. So I just finished, actually I'm reading right now this book. It's called Finding Your North Star by Martha Beck. And I highly recommend it if you're interested in what I'm talking about, but I'm going to touch up on a few, I guess, like the most important things that I took away on change specifically, because I feel like I'm going through a lot of changes this year, and I feel like you guys can resonate. So let's talk about it. So three different types of catalytic events that can happen, that can facilitate change. The first one is usually it's called shock. So something shocking may happen. Usually it's not something that you plan to transition into, not something that you wanted or expected it anyway. It could be a layoff, a death in family, God forbid. It could be a disease, or could be something good, it could be change like beginning a new relationship, getting married, moving to a different state or a different country, or becoming a parent or anything like that, right? Or getting a pet. Those are huge changes for your life. And that usually serves as shock. And the normal reaction is that you will feel for a while like you're not yourself. You're going to feel out of place, you're going to feel confused and insecure a little bit, and not knowing what is going on and how to deal with it. So in that time of change, you just need to allow yourself to just be, and grieve the loss of your old identity as, for example, from being a single person to being in a relationship, from being not having kids to becoming a mom, stuff like that, or from, I don't know, living in one city and moving to a different city. So you need to be patient with yourself and allow yourself to go through that change, and maybe give yourself a little bit more time to do normal things that you're doing, because as you're grieving, it's a normal process for you. You'll need more energy, you will need more time to just do activities that take care of yourself, like self-care activities, and resting more, just as long as you're going through that change. Another opportunity, another catalyst to change is an opportunity, and this one is a good one. It's not as the one is like a shocking one that is like a huge massive change. Opportunity is something that knocks on your door, and pretty much it's an opportunity that comes to you and you better take it, right? So for example, if you always dreamed of this dream job, and that dream job requires you to relocate to a different city, or requires you to change a lot in your status and the way you present yourself and the way you are, that's an opportunity. Always my advice to you, if you are faced with an opportunity and you feel like you're not ready for it, just go for it, just take it. If opportunity comes, you do not say no, you take it and then you grow into it, you know. So never say no, even if you're not qualified. If you only qualified 50% and this amazing dream job is offered to you, you take it and you say yes, and you figure out as you go. So that's the opportunity type. And the third type of change is transition. Transition is something more minor and more mild, I guess, than the opportunity and the shock that comes to you and just kind of forces you to shake up your core and just go and change the way you are, your old personality. Transition is something that is coming from within, like all change comes from within first. But transition is something that you've been growing into for a while. So maybe you were doing something, you had a job that you liked, and then you kind of feel like you learned everything in that job and you don't want to do it anymore. And then you don't know exactly where else you want to go, but you kind of know that you don't want to stay there. But you're kind of scared to go forward because you don't know if you're going to like it or not. That is a transition. And that also can feel like you are unsure. You don't know what to choose. So always, when that happens, listen to your heart and always follow change that seems exciting to you. And like, if you are scared but you desire to do something, but you want to do it and you're scared, that's the fear that you need to face. You must face it and you must go and get that opportunity. But if it is, for example, something that you fear and at the same time something you do not like, then you do not act on it. You know, you don't listen to that. You just don't do it. You just brush it off. And so those are the three types of the change that you can encounter. And how do you deal with it? So to deal with the change, you need to know that there is 4 different, so it goes like a cycle. It's a cycle of 4 different steps, and that's what change you go through pretty much. I'm going to show you a little picture from the book. It is called The Change Cycle. I don't know if you're going to see it, but here. So pretty much it says here that the first step is called death and rebirth. That's the first step when you're unsure what's going on. The second step is dreaming and scheming. The third step is hero saga, is how they call it. And the fourth step is the promised land. So pretty simple. The first two is, the first step is where you are death and rebirth. That's why it's called. So you're literally given, like, killing off your old identity and becoming that new person that you need to become. And change is painful and change is difficult, and you need to be kind with yourself while you're going through this. For example, I remember when I made a decision to move to the United States, and it was my third time. My third time I was going to the United States, and I went with a friend from work, and I remember we had a layover in New York City for a couple of days, and then I was heading to Miami, and she was going to some other city in the United States. And oh my god, I remember I was in New York City. It was May, it was a beautiful day. I was in New York City, it was gorgeous. Like, I only seen this in the movies before. And I was stressing out. I remember calling my parents and saying that I cannot do this, I'm gonna get the first flight back home. I changed my mind, I can't leave my family, I cannot leave my friends, I cannot leave my university, my life. It was so scary, I was so fearful. And my parents, it took like a bunch of my friends and my parents to tell me, like, calm down, just try it out, you can always get back, we'll always be there, you know, if you want to come back, it's okay, just try. Like, and it took, you know, I'm glad that I followed through and I didn't act on that first impulse. Because at first, when you're going through the death of your old identity, you will want to run back. It's normal, you will want to run back to comfort and to what you were doing before, because that's what you know, that's what it's safe. And but that's not where the growth happens, you know. So it is important to follow that change and go through it, no matter how scary it seems in the beginning, and just trust that this is normal how you feel, and then it's gonna get better, even though it's difficult, you know. It's like birthing, I guess, the idea, or like a new life, or literally like your new life. You will have to strip away your new identity, and you're gonna feel naked for a while, because you're not gonna know who you are anymore. And it's totally okay, because in that space of that unknown, like when you don't know what's going on, you don't know who you are, that's where the change is happening, you know. I like how the Joe Dispenza calls this the river of the unknown. He talks about it. So there's your old you, right, and there is your new personality you want to become, and there is this river of change. And so to become that better version of yourself, you know, Alessia 2.0 or your name 2.0, you will have to step in that river of change, and you're gonna feel like nothing is familiar, nothing you know, nothing you're comfortable with, and you will feel scared and unsure, but it is okay. You just have to know that on the other side of that fear is that better life, that new identity, that person that, for example, if you want to give up, like quit a bad habit like smoking, or you want to eat healthier, and you will have to give up that bad habit, you will have to substitute it with something else, something better, and move into the new version of yourself. For example, if you want to become a public speaker and you are terrified of crowds and you're terrified of public speaking, then you will have to grow into that version of yourself that is not scared of it anymore. And by how to do that? By taking action all the time. Anyways, I'm rambling, so let's move on to the second step of the cycle of change. So after you've been through the death and rebirth and feel unsure and deal with that, you're gonna get to the second stage, and it's called dreaming and scheming. And how you know you got to the second stage is when you start feeling hopeful. When you start feeling hopeful and excited, and you're gonna start having dreams and ideas, or you're gonna start getting those like little creative nudges, those little pulls that will tell you to try this and try that, and maybe learn this skill, and maybe attend this kind of class, and maybe talk to this person. It is important for you to follow those little creative nudges, because that is pretty much your new future better self that is getting you through this change, is calling and telling you. So for example, if you were a waitress and now you want to become a lawyer, it's a huge change, you know. And at first you may dream about thinking about like how it might be nice to be a lawyer. Then you may look into online like what schools are in your area, what school you want to go to. Then you may look into what kind of classes you will have to take, how much the tuition is going to be. That's the part of that second stage of dreaming and scheming, and this is normal. Or for example, if you are an accountant and you want to be an artist instead, so it starts simple with you just being hopeful and thinking, what if I take this art class? What if I take that photography class? And just pretty much following your curiosity and seeing what sticks. In that stage, you're not yet taking that much action, but you are pretty much trying on like a new sweater, I guess. You're trying on new identity, and you're trying on see which one fits. So that's the second step of any change cycle. Then the third stage is the one that is the hardest one, and usually a lot of people don't get to that stage, unfortunately. That one is called the hero saga, and this is where the hard stuff happens. This is where you're gonna fail miserably many times over. That's where you're gonna have to go and try make your dreams come true and fail and figure out that none of it is working, but you will adjust and you will learn and you will take action, and you will get to the fourth stage, which is the promised land. So third stage, the hero saga, I can tell you from my experience, when I moved to the United States, I thought it was going to be quick and it's going to take me like a couple years and I'll be able to travel. It took me 10 years to get my citizenship, right? And it wasn't easy at all, but looking back, it was fun, you know. No matter how difficult it was, you just have to remember that if you have that big goal of yours, no matter what it is, like let's say if you want to be an author, you want to write books, if you want to move to a different country, or if you just simply want to have more free time in your life, or you just want to have more joy in your life and do more activities that you like, you just have to have that goal of yours. It has to be so big that it's always in the background and nothing that happens covers it. So you just have it in the background, and pretty much anything you see, you still see your goal behind it, if that makes any sense, that analogy. So that's what it was for me. Like, it was always on the background, and I always knew that I wanted to live here, and it just happened, you know. It's not just happened, but it was with a lot of action and a lot of taking, like, it took blood and sweat and tears, and you finally get to the point. Same with any like career change, you know. If you are unsure, if you're right now thinking about changing what you're doing, if all you know, like let's say for the last couple of decades, or like a decade, you've been doing one thing, and now you want to change but you don't know how, or you kind of feel like you're kind of fed up with what you've been doing already, and listen to those nudges, listen to what is it that your soul wanted to do and curious about, and start taking small tiny little action towards it and see what works, because that's eventually how the change happens. Because another thing I will tell you from personal experience, and I'm sure you can relate, and I would like to know, by the way, if you have been through that cycle of change, which I'm sure you have been, if there was like a huge change that you overcome in your life and you've been through it, I want you to let us know in the comments below, because I would love to read it and to see how you guys did that. So I remember I really wanted to be a makeup artist, and I didn't know how to do it. I just knew the basics of it. And I remember going to Sephora when I was like 21 years old, and I went there 6 times. I was declined 6 times, and they told me they're not hiring anymore. They told me they didn't need anybody, and for the 6th time they finally took me, and I became, like, I consider myself a pretty good makeup artist. But that's what happened, you know. You just have to go for it and not pay attention to the no's, because you will hear a lot of it, but if that's what you want to do, you need to go and get it, you know. Because, so yes, after you go through the hero saga, and after you go and take action and struggle a little bit, then you get to our fourth stage of change, which is the promised land. And promised land is when this section takes the least amount of tweaking. This is where you pretty much arrive to the goal that you wanted, and you don't need to take that much action. You just have to tweak your activities here and there just to make it the most enjoyable. After you achieve the promised land, then usually after a few years you get to another cycle. Something catalytic event happens, and then you're ready to go through those 4 stages again. And it's normal. The change happens in it's not linear. It's usually actually shaped as like a corkscrew, because with every cycle you will set the goal, you will feel like you don't know what the hell is going on, you will get through period of hope and trying to figure out, like, and decide to screw all the rules and just try it and just go for it, and then you will take action and you will work on your goals, and then you will arrive to your destination, and then something else happens, like the change, and you will be ready to go through this again. So just understand that change is normal. Change is actually the only thing that is constant in life, and you do not need to fear it. It's normal in our human nature to fear the changes, but it's great, you know. Like, whenever you find yourself in that unknown situation and feeling like you don't recognize anything about your life anymore, you know, who you were half a year ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, you do not recognize that person anymore, and you're ready for change, but you don't know what that change is. It's important for you to just acknowledge that and sit through it with it, and maybe grieve a little bit the loss of your old identity, of your old job, and figure out and take care of yourself and figure out what is it that you want to do next. And be patient with yourself. Change takes time. Change is difficult. It is not easy, but I promise you, after enough time passes, it could be half a year, it could be another year, you will just need to give yourself time to grow into that version of you that sees that change possible for them. And then once you know that, you will just go and take action, and you will arrive there where you want to get. So that was my idea of how you deal with change. So I hope you found it helpful. I am going through many changes right now myself, and I feel like a lot of you guys can resonate with that as well. So I want you to let us know, like, what is the change you're going through right now? What are you struggling with the most? And if you did recognize those 4 stages, I want you to recognize at which stage are you in the first stage, where you are letting go of your old identity, of your past, and trying to give birth to, like, the new identity of yourself? Are you in the second stage, when you're hopeful and you're dreaming and creating a new vision for the way your new life may turn out? Or are you in action portion of it, where you just go for it and making it happen? Or you already arrived to where you want to be and you're waiting for that next transition, that opportunity to change? So I want you guys to let me know. And yay, thank you for listening. And if you like and you find this helpful, please subscribe, please like, because this helps me a lot, and I will try to give you more content that's gonna help you going forward. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.